paragraph I can't stop thinking about. A girl, probably 16, sitting alone on the school bench. Around her, her friends are laughing in groups, but she is just quiet. She's not crying, she's not asking for attention, she is just absent. Present in the body, but her mind is miles away. And the thought running in her head isn't something dramatic, it's something smaller. That what if I'm not special? What if I'm always supposed to be this person? Average, invisible, forgettable. When we hear the phrase rewriting the narrative, we picture something cinematic. Because that's what the world loves. Loud transformations. The comebacks, the glow ups, the broken to brilliant stories. But my story, it doesn't look like that. I didn't change countries, I didn't quit something glamorous. I didn't fight the so called public battle. Because the narrative that I had to rewrite was not out there, it was something here. Something more real, close, and personal. Hi, my name is Krati Gaur. I'm 25 years old. I'm born and brought up in Delhi. I have lived in Delhi for my whole life with the same people and basically following the same routine. At one point, it started to feel like I was living the life of a background character in my own story. In school, I was never the topper, never the rebel. I existed in that space where nothing is loud enough to be noticed. I was just a name in that long attendance sheet. So to say that misery to me was found in the median. That was exactly where I was standing. Average, mediocre, safe. But whilst that ordinary life, there was a constant, restless voice inside my head. You are meant for more. I had ambitions. Big ambitions, the ambitions that kept me up at night, half terrified, half afraid, because sometimes those dreams felt too big to be true. Even I don't know what my ambitions were at that time. I don't know what I wanted to become. I didn't know what I wanted from my life. But there was this feeling that I know. The feeling to be seen, to be heard, and to be noticed. And here's one thing about ambition. When ambitions do not turn into achievement within your dreamed timeline, they do not feel inspiring at all. They feel burdening and pressurizing. And that's where my loop of self doubt began. I started asking my questions. Am I this version of me? Is all I'm ever gonna be? Or was I overestimating myself for the whole time? I sat with these questions long enough. And with these questions, I came to a realization that was oddly comforting to me. The realization was that this fear that was I holding on to, that I thought was something so personal, was actually out there. It was not just me, it was faced by a million people out there. It was the fear of being ordinary. Kinophobia. The term was coined by a YouTuber named John Coyne in his Dictionary of Absurd Sorrows. The fear that your existence will leave no mark, or how the internet calls it, FOBO, the fear of being ordinary. And the very tragedy with this fear is that this fear of being average turns you into exactly that, because you stop taking risks, you stop challenging yourself. Not because you're incapable, but because you are afraid. You are afraid of the conclusions. You are afraid that you will fail. And now my thoughts weren't just self doubt, it grew into something bigger. It grew into anxiety. And here I'm not talking about the anxiety we talk on Instagram casually, but the real suffocating anxiety, where days felt harder, where getting out of bed and brushing my own teeth felt like climbing a mountain, where every day I was feeling like a failure. Even when an opportunity came, I refused it because I was not ready. And I wanted to get out of it. I was trying to get out of it badly. So I put my faith in the self help book. I remember reading the 5 a.m. Club, and literally started sleeping on the floor the next day, thinking that discipline could defeat my mind. But nothing happened. I woke up with the same anxious brain and a very, very sore back. I remember repainting my room white, thinking that if my room would look like a Pinterest board, my dreams would follow. But again, I failed. I was failing again and again miserably. And then an unexpected door opened. I overheard that my brother is flying to Bangalore. And that gave me a hope. Changing cities. Now, from changing curtains to changing colors, I was changing cities. I begged my brother. And I think my convincing skills and my desperation was enough because he agreed. And I was in Bangalore. That new city, new vibe, new people were so promising. And Bangalore taught me two things. Firstly, that filter coffee any day is far better than cappuccinos. And secondly, that anxiety do not goes away with the change of a pin code. It followed me there. And in a city where I knew no one, it felt harder and heavier. So, I came back to square one. I came back to Delhi, the very place I once tried to escape. But this time, something was different. I understood that whatever I was chasing outside was not there, it was something internal. I realized that the narrations and the narratives of success that we have been fed are not true. I spent my years and my life living up to those narratives, but those were the real cause of my misery. I understood the power of continuing because in a world where it is so easy to quit on your dreams, your ambitions, your job, and sometimes even on yourself, continuing is powerful. It is damn easy to love your life when something impressive is happening. But it's far harder and braver to continue when nothing remarkable seems to be unfolding. Now I stopped asking the question that why my life is not looking extraordinary. Rather, I start asking that who told me that extraordinary has to look so dramatic. With that, I made a rule for myself that I won't quit this time. I won't let my fear win over. So one day with no FNE, this was the change to me. I pick up from where I left, and I eventually did secure a seat in an MBA college. I know this is not the story you were expecting because there is no dramatic edge, there is no cinematic movement. But this is the story of a girl who once thought that her dreams are lost. But they were actually alive, and my constant struggles were a constant and a living proof of the same. So, right now, if you are feeling unseen, unnoticed, I just want you to remember that don't quit. Because that girl on the bench, I'm proud of her. Because she didn't quit, even after having many reasons to. She chose to continue. I want you to continue because ordinary people who refuse to give up are the only kind of extraordinary that has ever existed. Thank you.